Hey y'all, it's Betsy from Cuttin Corners Vinyl in Nederland, Texas, and we are going to do a fun tutorial today. I'm going to show you how I direct-to-garment shirts using my Brother GT Series 3 direct-to-garment printer. Now, we are just going to do an all-color design instead of a black image that has a white underbase because it takes too long to do the white underbase to kind of keep the video going. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to take and pre-treat our shirt, which right here is the Pre-Treat Maker 3. And the first thing I've got to do is every time I turn it on, you have to shake up the pre-treat liquid well, which the pre-treat liquid is made by Brother, and you mix together equal parts of pre-treat with water. Now what I need to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and push the pre-coat button, and that gets the pre-treat liquid flowing through these nozzles right here. So now what we're going to do is take our shirt, which this is just one of those white t-shirts that I bought whenever I found for $1 at the Dollar Tree. Lay it out straight. There we go. And press start. And now, as you can see, it's coating the liquid on to the shirt. So now, as you can see, it's got a little bit of wetness to it. It may be hard to tell on camera. And yes, that's making a lot of noise right now. It's doing a white agitation. Now I'm going to bring it over to my Hotronix Air Fusion. And the heat press is set to 350 degrees for 35 seconds. And when we're drying the pre-treat liquid, it has to dry on a heavier pressure, so it's set to 85 pounds-feet of pressure. This is the reason why I have this expensive heat press. Now, as you can see, it's letting off a lot of steam. So while it's doing that, I'll go ahead and show you how we download a file. Now, on my computer, I have taken and just typed in Disneyland PNG. Now, a PNG is a file that has a transparent background, which works great for whenever you're doing a direct-to-garment image. And I changed the setting over here to extra large, and I'm going to take just this standard Disneyland old school design, and I'm going to click Save Picture As. There we go. And it's going to save into my downloads folder. Now I'm going to go to our GTX Graphics Lab right here, and I'm going to go ahead and add the image. Now this is the program, this is pretty much the RIP software for the direct-to-garment. So this is how it tells it what to print. Okay, right there. Now there's our Disneyland image. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and change that. Let's see. Okay, so see, that makes it kind of blurry. So let's go back over here and look for a different image. Okay. Now, as you can see, I'm just kind of looking through to find a nice big image to place on my shirt. Okay. Okay. Trying to find something I like. Now these machines are expensive, but I wanted to kind of give y'all an idea of some of the different equipment that I have. So let's see. What about the Tomorrowland? That's cool. Oh, hold on, let's click on the Disneyland. Let's try that again. Ah, wrong thing. Okay, so see, now that one's a better image. Okay, so now the first thing I want to go ahead and do is change this to 10.5 inches wide. And we want to go ahead and center that design. So as you can see, it centers it on the shirt. Now I'm going to go ahead and change my axis to make this where it is 0. Undo. Because I want this to be about an inch, which each of those blocks is about an inch down from the shirt. Now, we're going to choose color only because this is a white shirt, and I'm going to go ahead and send it to print. Now that is converting the data to send it over to the GT3. Eesh, I'm going to trip and fall. Now I'm going to take my shirt off the press and get the little fuzzies off. Okay. Gonna go ahead and load the shirt. There we go. Make sure everything's nice and smooth. And see the collar and everything is nice and centered on there. Now we're gonna go ahead. Hold on, it didn't receive the data yet. Let's oh, that's why. Print. There we go. Sorry, it was sending it to where you could check and see how much ink it was going to use. Okay, now you can see it's receiving the data. And once it's through receiving the data, there we go. Now we're just going to press the green button. And it's going to take a second to start printing because it's got to cycle through the ink. But it'll just be a moment. Hold on, let me make sure I sent that as color only. Nope. Yep. Hold on, let me cancel this. Okay, now it's re-receiving. And when you do white shirts, it is a very quick process. As you can see, the difference, and it tells you how many cc's of ink, so it's using 0.25 cc's of ink. And whenever it's putting a white base layer down, it used almost 4 cc's of ink. So when you're putting your white base layer down, it takes a lot more ink and things like that. Which these cartridges for this machine, they have a newer model out now, but we paid about $25,000 for it. And then we bought the pre-treat and the heat press. But the cartridges for this machine, the white cartridges are $303 for 2 of them, and it takes 4, and then each of the color cartridges are $202, and it takes 4 separate colors. And as I said, this is going to take a second because it's cycling through the ink, getting everything ready to go. But it's really not too bad. And I wanted to show you from the start on what the process for making a shirt like this entails. Because you know, if you go to any shows or you just look online, they don't always tell you everything that is involved with and the costs that come along with it. But the nice thing about it is you're not sitting there having to line up vinyl colors, things like that. So if you are a business owner and wanting to move kind of to the next level, a direct-to-garment to me is a great investment, but you have to get use out of it. If not, the heads on this machine can, because it is an inkjet printer, so it's like your home inkjet printer. So if you don't take and use it, the heads will mess up, and it has 8 different heads in there, and they are about $800 a piece. So it is something you need to use all the time. Okay, so as you can see, now it's pulling in, and if you want to aim the camera there, Nadia, so you can watch as it prints. It's such a cool process. And if you look like right here, you can see how true the colors print compared to what was on screen. Now, the Disneyland design is not something that you can sell, but if you're making something for yourself, you could easily do that. Now what we have to do is we have to go back over to the heat press machine. Okay. Load it back on. Okay, now I'm going to go over here and grab a piece of parchment paper because you have to have this to dry it. There we go. Now this ink is wet, so you have to make sure you're careful with it when you're moving it. Now as you can see, the heat press now for the drying of the ink is at 35 pounds-feet of pressure, so it's not as heavy as whenever you're drying the pre-treat. And again, it's set at 350 degrees for 35 seconds. And it is almost through. Now remember, we still have our sale going on until next Tuesday, the 22nd. If you spend $0 to $150, it's 10% off. If you spend $150 to $300, it's 20% off. And $301 or more, it's 30% off. Now you do have to use the code, which is CELEBRATE 10, celebrate 20, or celebrate 30, depending on how much you're spending. Also, look how cute that is. And it's all nice and dry, and it is soft. It is like in the shirt. So, remember, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right down below. And if you hit the notification bell icon next to it, that will notify you when we post new videos, which is normally Monday through Friday, but it's been kind of crazy with my medicine switch, so we're trying to get back into the normal schedule. But other than that, I guess that's it for today, so we'll see you on the next one. Bye.